projects. So I know we are not giving the project scenario for you, like we are not distributing the project's title. We are not distributing the project titles for you guys. But before giving the project titles, we will just telling you that how you can start. If we can given the projects, you can start, right? So how can you start? We will just discuss so in this session. So in the last week, we will conduct one session about the project management, right? We are conducting the project management session, right? Give me a thumbs up. Okay. So in that we are explaining that how it works and all these things you are already know what and all this in the session what you are learning you are all know, right? So based on that I will just tell you that before going to the session, like before going to build your app or build your project, you have to create some documents like some reports type, because you have to make sure that what are all the scopes or requirements, some other things will be needed in your apps. So you have to make sure you will prepare and documents, separate documents for that, like in the scope of your projects and the requirements, essentials or non-essentials, and how it works, and how it will be working, like how it will help you the other users. So like this, so all this information have to be prepared in one document before building your project. Okay, once we given the like once we given the title, you just started with these documents first thing. Like in this document, you just tell about the scopes and the requirements of that project and how it works, like this. So I will just take an example which I do. Like I will do the pensions project. So I just take an example of my pensions project and I will just tell you what are all the information you will add it in your documents. So first thing you will have to add in scope of this pensions project. So in that, what are all the scopes in that project is of, it is the main thing of this pensions is of, it is a financial tracking app. Whoever they can use, because they can tracking their finance. How can their like what are all the income, expenses, the budget, they can track in all these things. So the scope is a, first thing is a personal expense management. It is a personal expense management. We can manage our financial thing. Okay, and it will do that category based tracking. Means I will like I spend in money in rent and also traveling, health, like this. We will mention in the categories in our app, right? When we mention in the expenses, we will mention it as an, okay, why I just spending this money is for the rent. For the rent, I will spend 5,000, and it will be stored as an, as it is. For rent, you are spending the 5,000, and for the traveling, you are spending 2,000. You can add the income also. So for the income, where it will be coming. So if you have gotten salary of 20,000, or if it's extra money or some other savings, you can add that also. So like this, it is a category wise track. We can track that category. We will not confusing with how where we no. It will be given in that only. You will mention the category also, and it will store the real time data, whatever the data you are storing, like whatever the data you are mentioning in your app. So this is like what I am building in now in my project. It is not automatically updated, means it will not taking the inputs from not in any way. We have to manually give the inputs. It will not track down your bank account or your transaction. If we have to manually implement, you can implement that also, but I stopped there by manually entering. Okay, so it will storing the data which you are uh, mentioning in that app. Okay, and user authentication. This is the main thing you have to do that before login. Like user authentication means of login, logout, and creating your account in that app. So this is the user authentication. This is a sign in. This is a major thing because other person can't use your login authentications. Okay, so this is the another one scope. And mainly one thing is why we have to build this in a friendly manner. Because the user use it is in a friendly manner. Like for user, it will be an easy for you to use. User will not get confused like that. So make sure your app look like in simple way. Don't do it in a complicated way. So make sure your app should be in a simple way. Like if you just got into your like some users will open your app. Only the things will be if you are if their first time entering your app, it will showing that you are create like a create account or register to this app. After that, you just it is asking for the login if they're coming for the second time. The login also will be simply don't give an input for the so many things. Just an one email ID and the password. Don't give it as in you have to put it your phone number, some other information also for login. Don't do that because it will be easy to use. Just make sure with the two details it will log in. So like this, you will just think of your project scopes. What I am saying, what I am explaining now is this is all the scope of my project. Okay, I just take an example of my project. I will explaining my project scopes only. So whatever the project we will given you, whatever the title we are given for you guys, you have to think about these things like that project scopes. This is so similarity like the projects also given. You just think of your project scopes and make sure to make an document in that one. Why we have to do this one? Because we are already conducting the session, right? So moving directly moving into that app and while creating or building your UI screens front end or back end, this is a difficulty for you guys without knowing anything, without knowing the scopes, without knowing the requirements. You can't do like you can't add any features. You will just thinking as a blank. Your mind will be blank for what feature should I add for this one. So like that. So before before building your app, you have to move on. First, you have to do the uh, make an document for like this. So another thing is of a requirements. What are all the requirements will be added is of that requirements we are adding Android Studio. We are working in an Android Studio using the language as in Kotlin. So in the Android Studio, there are so many options for you that emulator, SDK managers, and also for helping the like resolving your errors. You can use the Gemini also. So like this, there are these requirements you can have for the software. So for the functionalities, functional requirements will be there for your project, your app, right? So first thing in your project, whatever the project you can start, not only the smart expenses, not only the expense tracker, you have to do it. Like the first thing is of registration. If the person will come first time in your app, you have to make sure the person will register first. Right. You can see also now wherever like in a daily life, we can open any other applications. First time, it has to be asking for the login or like a registration. First, you have to register while giving your email IDs or some other things you can give it and you have to register. So like this, if you are building your project also, you have to make sure you have a one screen for the registration. You have the one screen for the registration. So in that registration, you just take in some information like an name, phone number, email address, some other our personal details also you can take it. So these details will based on your app. If you are doing only the spend cents, if there is no need for any other information, you can just ask for the full name, email address, phone number. That's enough for the spend cents. But for the employee tracker, you can ask any other informations also. Right. For the registration, you can ask any other information related to the company also. You can ask for the registration details. Okay. After that, another one thing is whenever the user will come for the second time, they will just log in. So for the login, you are given one password and a mail address. Otherwise, you can give it any uh, other authentications also you can give. Other than entering your password at the email ID, you can give your fingerprints, face ID, face recognition. Like this, you can give any login authentications for your apps. So most important, like if you are beginner, you just make sure with the login for the password. So this is simple. For adding the facial recognition and the thumb, like a fingerprint also, so a little bit difficult. You can do that also, but a little bit difficult. You can make if you are confident about you can make it. You just make sure you can do that also. And after that, we'll opening that app. First thing is of a dashboard, otherwise a home screen. You can call it anything, the home screen or the dashboard screen. So like this, you can just add some features in the home screens, like a name. Like in my expenses, I will just added some total balance, income and expenses. Whatever all the income will be, it will showing expenses and the total balance, which will remaining. Okay, so it will be showing, and some categories transaction categories will be showing in my app. You can do anything, any features you can add. Whatever the creativity you have, you can add any features in your home, like home or dashboard screen. So like this, you can make in your inside of your app, you can make any screens. Okay. And like these are the functionalities, you can add any features and all these things. But the non-functionalities is like make sure your app should be a user friendly, easy to work. User will not get confused how it works or how can I operate this app and all these things. So make sure that one thing. And other thing is a fast response. Fast response. It will give the response will be fast. If you're adding any AI related summary or these things, if the user will asking the question, it will give the answer in the next second. Don't do it in a delay or it will take some time and all these things. And for the backend, you have to make sure your data will store in one pattern. Make sure you can make it as a one pattern. In for when you are doing the documentation, I will tell you that, right? For scope, you just make a document of a scope requirements and all these other things will be how to make some document. So in that document, we just added this thing also backend. How your data will store. There is one pattern will be there. So you just make sure in some pattern you will this data will show. Like in my project, it will be storing as in first thing one UID, one other link will be created for every person. When they're login, it will be created. So in that link, it will be showing the name of the person. If you are asking any other details, you can make sure it will be also represented there. And after that, how much income it will get and how much expenses he will do in that month also, date also, it will be showing. So like this, your project, in your project, the data will be stored in some patterns. When you open that, it will be a clear picture. if you are seeing on the data, it will be in a clear. So if anyone can see, it will be understanding. Make sure that one also. So after you did all these things, okay, after you done with your documentation while adding all these features, what I am explaining from starting until here, how to do the separate documentation for this. After that, after you do the documentation, after you do the documentation, go to the Google AI Studio. Okay, you just go to the Google AI Studio. So whatever the information you will store in your documentation, you are already having an idea. So how my project will work and how and all the futures, some other things will what have to build. You are already having idea by doing your report. So make sure you go just go to your Google AI Studio and try to give a prompt. Try to give in prompts. That prompts is like this. All the prompts will be you will given and it will be created your app. So make sure that this will be your portfolio of your project. Like these are the front end screens. Are the you can tell it as an UI UX screens also. UI UX designs also, or otherwise the front end designs also. You can. The what's like first thing I will just tell you that what's this front end. When you create in your Google AI Studio, before that I will just tell you what's this front end. So the front end is a user can see and interact with uh, tools. So in your UI screens, you can add text, images, buttons, layouts, all these things you are added, right? So user can see that one, and also he will interact with that one. So he will interact. Interact means like he will click on the button, it will works. You can add any images. If the images will work like this. So this is a front end. Whatever you see in your screen. Is there any problem you are giving the thumbs down? Is my voice is audible, right? Okay, then. So unnecessary, just don't give the reactions. It will just break down my flow of meeting. Okay. So the front end is of whatever you are seeing in the screen. This is of what your UI screens are the front end. Okay. So after you doing your documentation and all these things, after that you just go to your Google AI Studio and give the prompts. You already know how to give the prompts, right? Because in this, when you are building your side project, I already show you how to give the prompts and all these things. And by giving the prompts is just so simple. If you are knowing the English, it will be too simple. You just make sure what are the features you have to add. Make sure you're just entering those things. So it will it will understand what you are saying. Okay. So make sure you just create your UI screens, all the screens of your app in the Google AI Studio. You just take that as like if you're building an registration screen. So I can just build a registration screen with if it is asking the information of a full name, and if it is having a last name, it is an optional phone number, email address. If you want some other information, you just mention in that prompt and click on OK. So it will create as it is. And whenever you are creating the screens or the front ends, make sure three things. So for creating the UI screens, you are using some composables. You are knowing that composables right? Like a text, image, and then layouts, and also your background screen color, like background theme. You are already knowing the color theme and all these things. So make sure your app looks like this, in a neat way. It will be looking good. It will be at a good looking. Don't take the colors with the not combining all these colors. Like don't take that fully bold colors. Take it with the light color so it will be look presently. So and also the word text. Which background you are choosing, make sure your text will be reading. It will be visible. Sometimes it will happen, you are giving the text and you are choosing the background, the text will not visible and it is a difficulty to read to the users. So all these features also you have to focus on these things. You have to focus on all these things. And while giving the text message, the font size, it will be in a bold or it will be in a semi bold, lighter, and font style, whichever the style you are using. And sometimes you are using like it will looks nice. You are using the kudzu also. Don't do that one because everyone is not easy with the kudzu letters. They can't read that one. So your text style will be important. Your text style, text font size, and your background colors. There are all these main important things. The layout and where you place those features. Like if you are adding one button, so just you are adding a button and it will be placed anywhere. No, it should be placed in the correct way. If you're adding the button for add a transaction or add an income and expense, it will be in a center or it will be in a plus icon in the navigation. The navigation means of the home analysis page or the profile page, like this, some other pages with it. So it will call it as a navigation, or you can name it as an main menu, or also you just add it in your screen. Otherwise, you will add it in your navigation. Also, it will be in some icons. Also, you can add. So make sure it will be placed in a correct way. Whenever you are doing all these things, it will be main important things. You can add any features, but the arrangement is a main thing. Simply you are adding all the uh, features in one screen. That is not good, look good. It will not good look, and it will be confused to how can you use the scrollability. And another one thing, like some of them are missing this thing when you are building your apps, like you forgot to add and scrollable when while you are creating one screen, so that your screen, the next feature will be added in at the end of the screen, but it will not see in your screen because you forgot to add and scrollable. Make sure you add the scrollable in a vertical way and also in a horizontal way. Only by doing vertical way, it is not helping, and also it will only by doing horizontal way also it is not working. So make sure you are adding the scrollable also. So make sure when you add the thing, we can scroll and see the last what feature you are adding. That thing also main. So by giving the prompts, you can just add all these features and create your front end or UI designs in the Google AI Studio. Okay. So, and also you are already knowing these things about the layouts. Layouts means of column and row when you are using these things. Because for a vertical, if you are adding vertical, your text to be in vertical way, you have calling the column composable. And for the row, it is for the horizontal. And make sure the modifiers. You will give the modifiers means of padding values, size, alignment. The alignment will be vertically, horizontal at the end. Like this, make sure all these things, the arrangements will be good looking. And for button, your functionality will be a on click. You just adding the button, it will not help. You can add the button like in just an text will be given for that, as an you are already done with the dice roller, right? So in that we just give it as a role and add a button, but it is not working because we are not adding the function up and on click, so it will roll, right? So like that, make sure the simple things will be important and make sure you are focused on all these things. So when you done with your front end screens, front end like UI designs in Google AI Studio, so you will get an idea. So how your UI screens will look, how your UI screens will look, and you can, if you want, you can any changes. You will just by giving the prompts, you can change the prompt. Like you can change the futures or you can change any whatever you want to change. You can change it by giving the prompts. You can change it. So what should I tell you that like completely all the features like when you get back to your Android Studio, whatever you are done with the Google AI Studio, you will just make sure all the screens will be you are making in the Android Studio. So in Android Studio, you are not adding any features. Whatever the features you want to add it in your Google AI Studio only. So then it will be easy for you guys to make it in the Android Studio. So there is no confusion that should I add this feature or not when you come back to the Android Studio. So all your features, all your like how it will be like, look like your all full app will be built, but there is no backend. You are not connected to the backend. The front end will be completed in your Google AI Studio. So all the features. So in the registration, what and all the information you want, you are already adding those things. You log in and also forgot password. So think it as an in a user way. So if you are going with any one new application, you will just think that what are all the information it have and how it works. So you can make sure that you can add it in your apps also. Think it as in a user way. Don't think it as in a developer way. Think it as in a user way. So it will be helpful to add in features, add in functionalities. It will be helpful. So when you come to that login, if the user will forget the password, how can he make sure to log in? Right. So think it in a user way. So add and forgot password. So it will give the some link to your mail ID. So it will you can change the you can change your password to your new password. So like this, make sure you think it in a user way. So all the features, all the functionalities you can use, and it will be so then your app will be a user friendly. It will be easy to use. Okay, and in the dashboard, you are adding some features. Like in my project, I just added in some details about the total balance, income, expense, and some categories. And in analytics, I added that 6 months overview. In 6 months, how much the income will coming and how much the expenses every month I do. I have added the 6 months overview also, and the present month, the weekly breakdown also I added. And make sure you can use the bar graphs. Graphs you can use like a bar graph or the pie chart for the categories. You can use the pie charts where you spend more money. It will be showing in one color, and it will be some money. You will make it sure the categories will be in a pie chart. So you can use any graphs. I will just give you an example of a bar graph or the pie chart. Okay, and in that, after I just added a budget, I will just tell you that employee tracker also. So I will just giving in scenarios. We are not distributing your title when the title will given. So you just make sure you can make use of these suggestions also. So in the employee tracker, you have to do the um, two admin like two registrations because of one is for admin and another one is for the employees, and what and all the tasks will be assigned for the employees, it will be shown in an employee list, and only admin can changes any editing and all these things. So like this you will just add in features. Make sure you think that in a user way, so you can add more features. You can add more features in that way. So until here, while in 2 days we will give you a title. Okay. So before giving the title, you make sure prepare your reports about like documents about the scope, requirements, essential non-essential functionalities, all of these things. Whatever the things you are already know that in the project management session, they already tell you about these things, right? So make sure you prepare your document about that thing before the title will assign you. Once the title will assign you, just make go with the Google AI Studio and give the prompts and create your front ends, UI designs. So it will be helpful for you guys. In fast, until in 2 to 3 days, you will make sure you will create a front end if you are already completed your document. So with the knowledge of this project management session, make sure you will create the documents. Okay. And just give me a second that I will just show you the my project front end screens. I will just show you my project front end screens. Uh, and you are all already know right how to use this Google AI Studio because you are already complete do your side project in that, right? So my screen is visible, right? Okay. Okay. So just a second, I will just opening with that one. So just give me a second. So it will be launching on my device. Okay. So you can see my app is launching. So it will be Android. So it will showing the profile of Android. So this is the splash screen. not a login or authentication. This is a splash screen. I name it as in a smart spin. So I just before entering your app, it will give the name of your app and some lines you can make it. It will be your, this is an optional, the splash screen. And here you can see that welcome back means it's already a login page. Means all the you're already created your registration, like a create account page. So you are coming back to in the second time or third time. So it will ask only for the email and a password. Okay, and I will show you that if you don't have an account, you can just create an account. Okay, so I just asking information of a full name, email address, password, and your confirm password. Okay, so while just giving these informations, click on sign up, your account will be created. And you can see here the alignment. You just given the futures, like you just given the inputs of full name, email address, password, and you are not giving any alignments or some other things. It will be overlapping, or it will not be seen, like it will not be a readable way. So make sure the small things will be, you have to focus on that one. And giving the some code lines, you can see create accounts. So start managing your money smarter. While adding all these things, make sure like also it will be good while adding these things. Once before going to your app, before building your app, you just once go with any other, you can go with any other apps and focus like observe all the things when you first opening the app. Observe all the things, what and all the layouts and what it colors will be given, and how it is asking, and what are the questions it is asking, what are the informations we have to ask in our app also. So first thing, you just make sure you just observe one, two to three apps. So then you will get a knowledge and what font size you are, font style you are they are using, font size, how they are arranging their inputs, arranging their text, buttons, all these things you will just once observe, and then you just start your app. Start your app by giving the prompts. So it will be easier to you guys for adding the more features. So your app will be good looking. Just give me a second. Okay. So this is my create account. So I already create an account. Okay. So I will just go with the login page. And also you can see I added the forgot password here. You can see in the login page, I'm asking for the email and password. And look at this icon. So these small things will be important. Okay. If your password is visible or not, you have to add an icons also. So and you are already know how to add these things, right? Because you are already created some mini projects in while doing in LMS sessions, right? So you are already knowing how to add an icons, how to align this, how to arrange the text, how we giving the style of the font, size, padding values, all these things you are already know. So if you're having any doubts, and go with the session and read it once again, so you will understand. And for giving the colors, you can see here in the code, I given the color code here. I given the color code. And for the backend colors, you will make sure you're picking up some combo colors. You just make sure you are picking a combo colors. Don't try with fully dark or fully light colors. Make sure you are seeing the color palette, right? You can choose it by easy way. And you can see that forgot password I added. When you click on that one, you just give an email ID and Click on the send reset link. So it will send a link for your mail ID. It will send a link for a mail ID. While clicking on that link, you can change the password. I made it as like this. So sending an email link for the email ID. Otherwise, you will just make sure it first thing. Make sure the users will be the owner of this account, and directly he or she can change it in the app only. Don't go with the email or link. Don't go with that. You can made it as an in the app only. They can change the password also. You can make that one also. I made it as a you can go with the mail and reset. Okay. So for login, I will just show you. Okay. So this is my dashboard or the home screen. Okay. So you can see I use the background color as a dark theme. I know that one, but the readability is clear. You can read my text. Okay, just a second, I will just bigger this. Okay. So you can read my text here. It is in a readable way. So welcome back. Here's your financial snapshot. So like this, you just add in some lines also, or some other things, some images also you can add for the income and expense, the total balance. We can add income and expense button. I added in your screen. So this is for the expense and this is for the income. I just give you the title. Title is an optional, the category and amount. Which category are you using and how much is the amount. I should give click on save. It will save it, and you can see the recent transaction. That too with the category. This is an expense for the rent. I will made it in a 17th December. You can make sure that thing will be in a date wise. So you can easily tracking your expenses. Okay, so this is that one analytics page. Okay, just a second. Okay, analytics. So this analytics page, I just added the present month work breakdown, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and 6 month overview. I'm not doing before 6 months, so it will only showing for the 4 months. Is only showing for the 4 months. Okay. I started with the Jan, Feb, and the December also, and this March month. This is the budget I added. I just set it as a monthly budget. So if the budget is exceeding what I'm giving, it will give the notification and it will also showing it here. Okay. So you have used 80% of your budget. It will showing warnings. So like this, you just added some simple features also, warnings, notifications. It will give notification whenever you're exceeding. Or you can change the monthly budget. So this is just profile. I just added the name and these things, editing this profile and all other things. I didn't add any much features. You can add anything, notification, dark theme, settings, preferences, all these things you can add here. And the lastly is the logout. The logout, it will be showing the welcome page now. So you are getting an idea, right? How you can do your front ends. So Before going to the front end, before creating your UI designs, you have to make sure you are preparing your document. On the basis of your project management session, you already know the session is already conducted, right? Session is already conducted. So basis on that, you just create the document. Create the document. So on the document basis, give the prompts in the Google AI Studio. So make sure you will create your UI designs and the front end designs of your app. So we will give you a title shortly. So before giving the titles, you are ready with your documentations. Okay. Is that understanding right? And also, and so in that session, you will know some works like some collabs will be given, like some things will be given you for studying and all these things. You just make sure work with that one. You will create some other things other than that session. You will create by your own something based on that knowledge. You will create something. And all of you have completed your side project. Did you all complete your side project? I only see some of them are given the thumbs up. I'm not seeing all of them are given. Okay. So some of them are is not done with that one, and some of them are already done. And while if you are already done with your side project front end, only the front end. I'm not talking about any backends and all these things. I'm just talking about the front end. If you're already done with your front end of your side project, it will be easy for you guys to make it this main project front end. It will be easy. So before building your front end or UI designs, make sure you are preparing the document. So this is the task for you guys for today. And another thing, I already know, like we are not giving the title right, but instead of you just simply sitting, make think that one. So while giving the, you are getting in two projects. We are explaining the two scenarios, right? Two project scenarios we are explaining yesterday. So think of the way that what are the scopes, requirements, or some other features you can add it in those projects. Okay. So if you are preparing the document, it will be helpful when the title is given. You can make sure you can make it an easy way for doing the front end. Okay, then so make sure you work on this project management session things. I hope you will understand what I am saying. So we will wind up here the session. It's already at 11:57, so we will wind up here and work on what I am saying. Just make sure you will work on it. Thank you for joining. Thank you, all. Have a nice day.